Hello everyone, welcome back to Sai Homeschool. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. So last class we discussed electronic configuration, how we should write the electronic configuration and general electronic configuration we have learned. So here what will happen based on this electronic configuration, how metals will give the electrons and how non-metals will gain the electrons, means how metals will be donate electrons and how non-metals will accept electrons. So here one example we already studied last class, that is, so it should be, if you observe sodium, so you write the el electronic configuration for sodium. So atomic number of sodium is 11. So if you write the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s, 1 here. So what will happen? It has one electron in the outermost shell, that is valency electron, number of electrons in the outermost shell. It not be stable. To become actate rule, to become actate structure, it wants to become stable. What will do is, it will leave one electron. It will donate one electron. So here it will become Na plus electron minus. So that is, so here sodium is positive charge. So if you take a chlorine, so atomic number of chlorine is 17. So if you write electronic configuration, same thing, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So if you observe here, outermost electrons, how many electrons present in the outermost shell is 7 electrons. So here what will happen to get active, to get stable? So it will gain one electron and it will become Cl minus. So this is, it will be negative charge. So here if you come to write the electron dot structure for sodium chloride, they will ask one question. Any how many electrons we have is one valency electron. Here it has 7 valency electrons. So as we studied above, metals always it will donate electron. Non-metals it will gain always electrons. That is, so here one electron it is going to give, then it will become a stable. So now it is Na plus and Cl minus. So here what is happening? There is ions present. So chloride ions and sodium. So this is oppositely charged. So oppositely charged particles always attract each other. So there is a more strong force, electrostatic force of attraction will be present in these two atoms, that is sodium and chloride, and it will become a sodium chloride. That is, so ionic compound. So formation of one more ionic, ions means itself we know that positive and negative charges. That is, so one more they gave here, magnesium. Magnesium, if you observe, so what is the atomic number for magnesium is 12. If you write electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. So here how many electrons in the outermost shell is 2 electrons we have here. 2 electrons. So Mg, what will happen? It will, to get active structure, magnesium is a metal, it will donate electrons. So it is a 2 electrons it will be present. So that is, it will leave 2 electrons. That is, if you write chlorine atom above, same thing, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So number of electrons at the outermost shell is 7. To become these elements stable, what will happen? It will gain the electron from magnesium. Write the electron dot structure for magnesium chloride it is. So magnesium has 2 valency electrons. Metal it is going to donate electron. This is a chlorine is non-metal. It will gain the electron. So but here one chlorine it needs only one electrons to get stable. So what will happen? Here we have magnesium and one more valency electron present in the magnesium. So here one more chlorine will come and gain one more electron from the valency electron from the magnesium, and it will become Mg2 plus and Cl2 minus. That is MgCl2 minus. So these compounds are formed by the sharing of electrons, or transforming the electrons, means by donating and accepting the electrons. This is called as ionic compounds. Though this is very important, ionic compounds. So what are ionic compounds is transfer of electrons from metal to non-metal is called ionic compounds. So is it possible to break down easily this one? So it is not possible because of there is a more force of attraction. So means there is a ions it will be present. So force of attraction is more. So we cannot break this easily. So that melting point if you observe for this ionic compounds that we'll see properties of ionic compounds what will how the properties will be present. Now you understood the ionic compounds. So transfer of electrons from metal to non-metal that is ionic compounds. In these compounds what will happen because of oppositely charged particles there is a more force of attraction will be present. So what are the properties of these ionic compounds? We just observe what are the properties of ionic compounds. So one it is if you observe physical state we can observe for the ionic compounds. So physical properties what will happen? Ionic compounds are solids that is NaCl, MgCl2 these are solids. So if it is solids and also it is a strong that is so ionic compounds first property we can observe is these are very hard and these are solids. Okay. When it will become possible to so ionic compounds so because of hardness and solids absolutely it have high melting point and boiling point. So melting points and boiling points of some ionic compounds here they had given. So NaCl has melting point 1074 Kelvin. Boiling point is 1686 Kelvin. So if you observe another ionic compound, so it is a there is a melting point and boiling point will be very high because of force of attraction it cannot break easily. So why the melting and boiling points of ionic compounds is more because of force of attraction. There is a ions present. So we cannot break these oppositely charged ions very easily. So high melting points and boiling points. This they will ask why the boiling points of ionic compounds is more because strong electrostatic force of attraction present between these ions means electrostatic force of attraction here what will happen attraction between the positive and negative ions so that it has high melting and boiling points. So physical nature here they had given ionic compounds are solids and hard. So because of strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions, the compounds are generally brittle and break into two pieces when pressure is applied. That is, we cannot break easily that one. So melting point and boiling points, if you come, there is a high melting and boiling points because of it will not easily break down because in inter-ionic attraction, force of attraction is more in the ionic compounds. There is a oppositely charged particles present, so force of attraction is more here. So that high melting and boiling point. So if you come to the solubility, so this compounds generally soluble in water and insoluble in solvents such as kerosene and petrol. So this will be soluble. So water, it will be water also having a ions that is H plus and OH minus. If you take a H2O water formula, water also is having ions that is H plus and OH minus. Because of these ions present in the water, so those ionic compounds are soluble to solu soluble in water. So polar solvent it is so that it will be easily soluble in water. Then conduction of electricity. So the conduction of electricity of the solution, so moment of the charge particles. Based on this ionic compounds, water contains ions which move to opposite to the electrodes and electricity is passed through the solution. So if you take a ionic compound, if it is soluble in water, what will happen? There is a moment of ions will be takes place and electricity is passed through the solution. So solid state, is it possible to, if I take last lesson we discussed, if you take a solid NaCl, if you keep a two rods and if you pass the electricity to that rods, is it possible to pass the electrons from that solid? No, it is not conduct electricity. In the solid state, it will not liberate any ions. It is rigid structure. But ionic compounds conduct electricity even in a molten state. So if you take a molten sodium chloride, then it can possible to, there is a liberation of ions. It will be takes place Na plus and Cl minus. Then it is possible to conduct the electricity. So is it ionic compounds can conduct the electricity? So it will conduct the electricity when it is in the molten state. So it is when it starts melting, it will liberate ions and it is possible to conduct the electricity. So here, el electrostatic force of attraction between oppositely charged ions overcome due to the heat, and thus ions move freely to conduct electricity. That is what we said. There is a free movement of electrons when it will be present in the molten state. Then only it is possible to conduct the electricity. So how these metals will be occurs, then how the reaction of non-metals it will be present. Now we completed the chemical reactions of metals. So how they will be react with acid, how they will react with metal oxides, how the metals reacts with water, how metals reacts with the non-metals. We studied then electronic configuration, then ionic compounds. Till now we discussed in this metals and non-metals. Next class we will discuss totally about the non-metals and then how these metals will be occur in the nature. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel.